Dave Sider, baby. This is Rock Radio UK, and today I'm speaking to a legend that is John Bush. Hello.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. You're looking well.
Uh, it's the morning. I'm having well, I had some coffee. I drink it all. I need some more, but yeah, get the day going here.
It's much later in the day for me. I'm allowed a soda.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're 8 hours ahead, so you're in a whole different mindset.
is it
You've
8 hours? Is it?
you've already seen the day.
Yeah, it gets better. I've got to
Okay,
say.
something to look forward to.
Yeah. Um, sir, uh, like I said, you're a bit of a legend. You've been in some well-renowned bands. I mean, thank you for taking the time to talking to me today. I mean, it's just, it's a bit like hero worship.
Well, anytime I could talk about music, I'm proud that anybody wants to really talk to me about anything I've done. I'm the one who's flattered actually. So, I just try not to repeat myself with the answers, and that's the big challenge. So, a lot of that comes down to the journalist and asking different questions. So the
Ah,
challenge is
right.
you as well.
Pressure's on me then. Pressure's on me. Right. We'll gloss over Armored Saint and the impact you had on my youth, misspent youth, I'd say. I mean, it's such a iconic band. Yeah, and we'll gloss over Anthrax as well in your time there, and just being an outstanding vocalist there. Now we're talking about a new band, Category 7.
Yeah.
Well, well, tell me, Sam, what on earth made you start another band?
Well, it just kind of happened. It wasn't like there was some big ambitious goal to do something. Phil Demmel, who's a buddy of mine who I got to know through doing some stuff with Metal Allegiance, which is kind of a
Mm.
little all-star side thing that he's been part of. We got to know each other by doing some shows. We actually played the Rock in Rio festival with Metal Allegiance, which was pretty off the charts. And we've had a lot of fun and got to know each other through that, like I said. And him and Mike Orlando and Jason Bittner kind of started this thing. They started writing some tunes, and they had the idea of forming a band around these songs that they wrote. And he contacted me, and I said, send it to me. Let me listen. And so I did, and I thought, wow, this is really good stuff, and let's see what I could do with it. And so I kind of started writing, and one thing led to another, and then we wrote some more songs. And next thing you know, we had a few more songs, and then we had enough songs for a record. So the idea was to put it out there and let's see what the public thinks. And I don't think I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
I know we had some like unified conversation where we're like, this is what we say to the public, and because I'm just kind of talking about myself and my own opinions on it. But I think it kind of just happened in this real kind of natural way. I use the term organic, although I
Mm.
wish I would, because it's kind of redundant a little bit. But I think it's just kind of happened, and by it just kind of happening naturally is the best part of it, because then it's just you're writing songs and you're making music, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. I've read in the promo that was sent. They're not really saying it's a side project. It's more of a band. Is that right? Or are you hoping to expand this project, well, this band further and further?
I think it's all kind of a step-by-step basis.
Mm.
Put out these videos that just came out. The third one just recently came out about a week and a half ago for the song Mousetrap. We did two videos before that for the first song on the record, In Stitches, which is really cool. And then we did one for the song Exhausted, which I think is one of my favorite songs on the record.
Okay.
Um, and we're going to do another video. Well, we've actually done two more videos, but we just haven't put them out yet. But
Right.
I think we're gonna, in my opinion, let's just see what happens. The record's not even technically out yet. It comes out on the 26th of July, which is, basically a week and a half. And
Yeah.
let's see what the public thinks. They've only been exposed to a couple songs. So at the end of the day, it's all about what people think and the enthusiasm that it can generate. And then we'll play. And of course, we're going to do some shows and play. We do want to play live. Um, I think I don't want to get ahead of myself because like I said, I kind of just wanted to develop. I don't want to create this kind of pressure of we have to do this and you know, it has to go this route. I think it's, you know, which just kind of let it develop and see what happens. I mean, that's my mindset. Maybe that's not, you know, that's not the most business conscious state of mind, but then, you know, I'm not in the label and I'm, you know, that's not my gig. My gig is to just write songs and make music. So,
Okay, well, let's talk about the songs. You mentioned Exhausted. Let's start there. Why is that one of your favorite songs?
um, I don't know. It just seemed to like sound like an enormous chorus. It just had this real kind of hooky part to go along with this really killer riff. And then it had this some of the verses were a little bit more ambient in the way we recorded them. Um, you know, it has this really cool breakdown that just is really melodic, but yet it sounds epic at the same time. And the song throughout the song sounds really epic. So I'm real proud of that song. I really like the way the lyrics came out and the general theme of feeling like sleep deprivation is something that can just ruin people and
Mm.
um, I don't know. That's where I ran with it, but it's a really big song. It just has this epic feeling to it.
Okay, I won't go through song by song because that can get boring as hell. So
Okay, yes, please.
I'll pick out a couple I like. Apple of Discord. Go on,
Yeah,
tell me a bit about that one.
yeah, that one's cool. It's again, it has this kind of like cool buildup of the riff you know the intro of the song, and then it goes into that heavy duty um, verse part that sounds almost rock and roll to me.
Yeah,
Um, and then again, it has this really big chorus. You know, there's a little bit of a sarcastic overall lyrical theme throughout of just you know, I think dealing with the problems that are happening in society right now. It's kind of you hear that on a couple songs throughout the record. Never more than currently what's happening, and not just the United States, but in Britain and all
mm,
over the world. Just a lot of various different opinions on how we should all move forward. Um, Probably a lack of communication that I think is happening throughout society. There's a lot of people that I feel like we, and I don't think this is abnormal, but I think in humans that we have a tendency to surround ourselves with yes people. I mean, I think
yeah,
that you can break that down to, you know, immediate peers that we have. People
mm,
that really kind of say, yeah, John, you're great, we kind of surround ourselves with people who are like-minded.
yeah,
And that's again, that's normal. But I think that if we really want to challenge ourselves as humans with thoughts and ideas, it's better to actually sometimes work with people that you don't agree with.
mm,
You know, uh, what is it for, you know, romantic relationships, opposites attract is as a name, right? You know, I don't know if that's I'm sure everything originated in the UK anyway, so probably. Um, you know, and I think there's something to be said for that because, you know, it's about trying to communicate and maybe on things that people don't agree with
mm.
instead of we all think this and you should think that. It's like, well, maybe we're all individuals and everybody has different mindsets. So you know, to make a long story short, I think it kind of touches on that with a sarcastic kind of element to it. And you know, we'll see what we can do as a society, how we're gonna deal with this particular kind of stressful time that we're embarking on.
Yeah, it is a stressful time, but it just might be me getting older and more cynical. But yeah,
Well, it happens. It does happen. Although when you're young, you have that kind of that enthusiasm and you're that kind of bravado, you're kind of cynical too. So it's a different type of cynical as you get older.
mm,
Um, but you know, I have kids and you know, I mean, I'm at the, you know, man, look, I'm at the last third of my life. That's just the reality. If you break people's life down into, you know, say the average male lives around 75 years. I don't know what it is in Britain these days in America. It's probably getting less.
right.
But you know, so I'm in the last third is the reality. That's not me being negative or, you know, pessimistic. It's just a fact, based on numbers. So, but my kids, you know, the future is theirs, you know.
Yeah.
So, I kind of more concerned about what they are recipients of and how they can make the world better. And you know, that's just the reality. The youth is the future. So I try to kind of talk to them in real kind of honest ways and you know let them kind of navigate what's going to happen, and I wish them luck. They're going to need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the position to have grandchildren as well now, so
Oh wow. So
it's
even
like,
more so.
yeah, precisely. But it's
I mean,
also encouraging them
well,
to be more forthright as well.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, you know, let's just have a better world if we can. You know, humanity has always been, you know, we've been, you know, we butt heads. We always have from the very beginning. So this is not anything abnormal. Um, I think the concerning thing is a buddy of mine is, he said it right. It's like, you know, 1200, uh, living with like 1200 mentality coupled with like 21st century weaponry is a real dangerous combination, you know? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, you know, back in the day, and that, you know, I wrote a song about it with Armored Saint, the song Missile the Gun, which is on the last record we put out, Punch in the Sky, which is kind of alluding to a disagreement, you know, back in the day. You know, who knows if it was something political or, you know, just a different, you know, the love for two different soccer football teams, you know, used to lead to just like a, you know, a little brawl, and then you kind of shook hands and maybe even bought each other a beer afterwards, and you kind of agree to disagree. But you know, it's a little, we're a little different when we were talking about like some of the weaponry that you know mankind has now. That's
Yeah.
be a lot more severe. So
It's quite scary at times, seeing watching the news, shall we say.
yeah,
There's the various things that are going on in the world. Yeah, I'm not getting too political, but even in your own country, sir, in recent days, uh, you know,
yeah, it's you know it's like it's just eye opening, and every day something new kind of seems to develop. So you know, I'm hoping with what happened. You know, with Trump, you know, kind of makes everybody kind of take a humbled approach and kind of take a step back and go, okay, look, you know, let's not escalate this further. Let's see if we can kind of retract a little bit.
mm,
And so far, for the most part, there has been some civilized kind of communication between between the groups based on that. You know, so a lot of finger pointing, you know, a lot of conspiracy stuff that happens in on the internet. But you know, I try to live in a world of facts, and you know, unless it's a fact, it's just talk. So,
yeah.
uh, you know, and who knows about the facts themselves either. But I don't know. I try to have like an optimistic view of mankind, even though it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
That means I could write some kind of sarcastic lyrics. I'm taking advantage of that.
Okay, okay. Any other lyrics then that would fit that theme on the album?
um, you know, well, let's see. White Flags and Bayonets is a song that kind of implies, you know, um, that kind of thing as well, where, you know, it seems like there's a lot of talk about trying to work with others, but you know, you don't really know what somebody's true intentions are, and they seem kind of nefarious at times. So, I don't know. You know, again, I think that I wake up every day and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not just trying to write songs that are based on what's happening in the world. Some of the stuff is personal,
Mm,
some based on conversations that I have with my wife or with friends. You know, I always try to have a little element of humor in there somewhere, just because I don't want to, you know, get too caught up in the insanity of it all. But you know, sometimes you just got to laugh at things too, and I try to do that. So it just depends on the premise.
okay. Um, you mentioned Mousetrap is the forthcoming single.
Yeah,
Yes. Tell me a bit about that. That's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
yeah. Mousetrap was really cool. Like I was telling sort of somebody I had an interview with earlier, that it kind of has this like uh theme, like cops and robbers kind of vibe to it almost, like I was telling somebody, like I took one of the lyrics from the story of the Three Musketeers, which was like, it just kind of had this feeling about uh, uh, like I said, a little bit of this cops and robber feeling, for lack of a better comparison to it. Where you're kind of on the searching for somebody and you can't seem to find them, and I don't know. I just thought it was kind of, he had his humorous feeling to it as well. So um, it sounds very frantic in the way the music is. Like there's a chase scene happening, and I will see like like Bobby's chasing some guy in a suit trying to find this criminal, and he keeps eluding them. And I don't know. I don't know. That's just, it almost seems like it should be in black and white. The
Yeah.
world is in black and white. I don't know. That's the feeling I get from that song.
Okay. Okay. Um, so overall, we got about 10 tracks on the album. They're all in quite a style and a theme that are a little bit different to what you've done elsewhere. Was that purposeful?
I mean, it is. I mean, Category 7 is a metal band. There's
Mm,
no denying that. Armored Saint is, a hard rock heavy metal band. Of course, My Days in Anthrax, there's no more metal than Anthrax. So it is always a challenge as a musician, as a writer, singer, to try to make all these things sound a little different. Of course, there is the one common thread, and that's my voice and
yeah.
my sound of my voice. So I make the joke that I could sing in, like a jazz, trip hop, bluegrass thing, and somebody's gonna go, it sounds like Armored Saint. And it's like, well, yeah, because it's me, it's this. So yeah, you know, but can I do, I made the joke that we can't all be Mike Patton and be talented enough to like
Mm,
change his voice and all these kind of weird ways. I wish I could, but he's the king of that. But yeah, I think it is, the goal is to try to just always embellish what you've done. Try to gravitate to the people that you're playing with. Of course, playing with guys in Category 7 is different than playing with Joey and the Saint guys, and different still than playing with Scott and Charlie back in the day. So it's connecting with those musicians and letting that kind of bring out something a little different about my own personal style and technique, and that's what I try to do, because again, it's still under the umbrella of metal. So it's and I want it to sound a little different, just like what Ronnie was able to do. I mean,
mm,
obviously Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules are feel different than records like Long Live Rock and Roll, and because Richie Blackmore's style is different than Naomi's style, and both
yeah.
legends, incredible. And then of course when he went to do a solo thing, it felt a little different still, but it was still Ronnie, and it
Yeah.
still sounded like Ronnie. So I think that's a goal. It's not easy. You want to challenge yourself and try to do different things, and that really is, to me, the goal is to always try to be creative and not repeat ideas and not repeat lyrics and not repeat melodies. I sometimes do. I catch myself writing something going, wait, did I say that? And it's hard when you've written a bunch of songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, you've been dropping a few heavy names as well. I mean, hard hitting names with the band. It is quite an epic lineup.
It is. Everyone's a veteran, played in different bands and also current bands. Everybody's super gifted as musicians. Mike Orlando, who I just got to know actually through this project,
Hmm.
uh, is incredibly talented guy, incredible guitar player, awesome songwriter, awesome engineer, and just a really good guy, like really nice guy.
Yeah.
Um, like uh, just like one of the sweetest guys I've met. So like I think there's no denying everybody's ability. So it's more about making it mesh when you have people like this. Just because on paper you could look and go, oh, okay, man, that's a winner, for sure. But as I'm a huge sports fan, I always kind of connect things to sports. And you could take a basketball team and go, oh man, it's got all these guys, it's gonna win. but not necessarily, because maybe the egos don't necessarily connect. Everybody's not on the same page. So you have to be able to work with others no matter how talented you are. And I
Yeah.
think that's the correlation between sports and music. Um, or even making movies, directors got to be on the same page as the camera guys, and everybody has to be, the writers, and there's sometimes it is a conflict of what people see as the end goal of it. And so that's really the true challenge. I think sometimes when it comes to making anything artistic, as to making sure everybody, as good as they may be, can work together. And as we know in rock and roll, and we've seen it many, many times, really, really talented people sometimes can't still make it work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very fickle industry.
It is, and people ego is a huge aspect of it. And you
Mm.
have to sometimes, to work with others, you have to take a step back, I think, to be able to say, okay, let me compromise on this, even though I know I feel like this should go this direction, but this guy thinks it should go this, and how can we bridge this together to make it one amazing song?
Yeah.
Um, or one amazing band. That's the challenge. It's not easy.
But looking back over your career, just yeah, just briefly. I mean, I can't not talk about it, I'm afraid. Um,
No, please do.
uh, when you started out, all those years ago, I mean, you were mixing with Metallica, you were mixing with Armored Saint as well, was doing so well, and being in Anthrax yourself. I mean, was it sort of like I suppose, how can I frame this? Did you think at the time that the bands that you were around and in at the time were going to be such huge megastars as they are now?
No, I was telling somebody earlier, I think for me, yeah, one of the big goals growing up was just having a long career,
Yeah,
and being around for a long time, and being able to contribute a lot through the years. You don't want to be a flash in the pan. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder kind of thing, even though I never really had any hits.
mm,
But I think the goal is to have a long career. The thing about the music industry is, you can't really, there's no guarantee you're going to have fame or financial giant accomplishments there. You kind of have to follow your soul and the main primary objective, which is to write killer music and be a
yeah,
great musician. Um, and I think that's always kind of been the mindset, is to have a long career and hope for the best. And everybody wants to be successful. It's not like you write stuff and go, I hope this sucks and nobody likes it. You want it to be popular. You want people to love it. Let's face it. So, but you want to do it on your terms, and I think that's the goal. And I feel like I've done that. I'm real proud of everything I've done. I don't know if I've done anything, quite honestly, that's, I would say, is flawless, to be honest. Um, yeah, there's a couple of records that come pretty close, but um, I think in the end, you just want to be proud of what you've done. I mean, here I am. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I'm looking back, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I made it, and I can't believe all the music I've made. And to me, that's the most proud of. I'm most proud of that. Like I
mm,
said, the numbers, the money in the bank. I mean, that's stuff like you just have no control over it. That's just the truth. But you can have control over the quality of what you've done, and so that I always feel real accomplished with.
yeah. I mean, it must be surprising that when you're a kid and record a first couple of albums, that nearly half a century, well, not half a century, 40 years on, 45
Almost.
years on, almost half a century on, these albums are still getting played. They're still being loved by new fans. That must be really, really something for you.
I mean, that's all that really matters, like I said, because I mean, look, when you're 19, 20 years old, when Armored Saint came out, we thought, of course, we're going to be massive, and
Mm,
then after a couple years, and things don't quite go the way you think it is. And I mean, we were dropped when we were 25 years old after making 3 records, and we are dropped. And then we're like, what do we do? and we were 25. We were still little kids as far as I'm concerned, but we had all this experience already. And then we had the reality of having the ball drop, you know, and that's just a harsh reality of the music industry. And not everybody becomes Metallica. As a matter of fact, nobody does.
No,
The
that is true.
reality, just so you know, you don't know it at the time, but as time goes by, you start to recognize the importance of what you're doing and what it is. And you know, of course, again, you try to juggle it in a way where it's going to be the most beneficial to you for all those other, you know, it is the business, but again, it goes back to quality of the music. That's the thing that you really can control. And I think that's the most important thing. I saw the Stones the other night. Um, you know, I mean, I, Mick Jagger is an alien. That's the only thing I can say. He has to be an alien because, you know, here he is at this stadium, SoFi here in Los Angeles. It's a, you know, football stadium. And I mean, he's going from side to side, from front to back, nonstop. And I mean, the guy's 80 years old. And I know what it's like to sing and to move, you know, and I'm like, I mean, what he did would be challenging for a guy in his 30s
Yeah.
who's the best health of his life. I mean, it's just remarkable. I was really like kind of my jaw was on the floor just based on his ability to have that much energy still. It's you know untouchable. They really are the kings, you know, they really are as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I don't know, like you find inspiration where you get it, and that was a big source of inspiration for me within the last week. And you know, and have that career, you know, and very few people can say they've been around for 60 years
Mm,
and still playing stadiums
yeah.
with three guys who've been, you know, I mean, him and Keith, of course, OGs, but Ron Wood has been there since, you know, for years too. And it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. It should be highly applauded that these guys did what they're still doing it and at a high level. It's unbelievable.
Okay, one last question, quick question, because I know time's short. Is there something your older self would wish could go back in time and say to your younger self, just don't do it?
Oh,
Is there anything?
well, there is,
Bit
but
of advice.
probably there's probably a couple things, you know. I mean, certain drugs. I won't get into the fine details. Certain things that I probably never needed to do.
Mm,
Um, you know, I grew up in the 80s in heavy metal in Los Angeles, and there were things connected with that time. And I'm not totally embarrassed by it because it was what we did, and it was part of the culture. And there's certain things, again, I won't get into the fine details, but I'll just say certain things I never needed to do. Luckily, I'm still here and still going and feel pretty healthy. But yeah, certain things I didn't need to do. But uh, you know, I made a lot of mistakes through the years. If you're around for 40 years, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. It's just the reality of it. I don't have a problem with most mistakes. You know, I would have made some different choices. I'm sure we all would,
yeah.
business wise. But you know, what are you gonna do? Like it's the way the book is written now at this point. So I don't try to have too many regrets. I wouldn't say I have any regrets. I just would have done a couple things differently and made some different choices. But I don't have regrets with them. Just yeah.
Okay, on that note, thank you, John, for spending, well, a lot of time with me. I really appreciate this. I wish you all the very, very best with Category 7. It is an outstanding album. I urge
Thank
everybody to
you.
go and buy it. So hopefully, maybe you'll be over in the UK performing with one band or another
Yeah,
pretty
well,
soon.
Armored Saint is playing in the UK. Actually, we're doing several shows starting next month in August. So try to come out and see us. We're playing, you know, and Wolverhampton, and we're playing in you know, Manchester and London as well. So we're very excited about coming there, and always happy to come to the UK. It's an awesome place.
Excellent, sir. Take care of yourself. I wish you all
My
the very
brother,
best.
thanks a lot,
And
Dave. See you soon.
thank you very much.
Bye bye.